Subtext, welcome to the Fiction Lab. This is a weekly podcast where I bring in industry experts to talk about all things writing fiction, publishing your book, and also the business of being an author. My name's Katrina Schrader. I am the founder and host of the Fiction Lab. I am a book coach, editor, writer, ghostwriter, all the things. I really ought to write out a better bio for me that is less rambly like this one is. You're welcome. This week I have Ashley Werner-Sithonnorath joining us. She's an author and marketing expert, and she is going to talk to us today about the psychology of self-promotion, the thing that none of us wants to do. So welcome Ashley. Let's go. Ashley, welcome to the Fiction Lab. You're here.
Yay! Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Okay, so you're actually a member of our Discord and a member of our subscribed Fiction Lab. So, you're here. Yes. You're always here. It's the best.
Yeah, I'm always here. You can't get rid of me.
Yeah, awesome. This is your first time on the podcast. So before we get into our topic, which is the psychology of self-promotion for authors, can you give us a little bit of your background and why you're the best person to talk about this with us?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. So my background is just in marketing in general. Started day one in direct marketing. I used to send junk mail for an insurance company. That's how I got started. And then since I was the youngest person on the team, they pulled me in and they were like, hey, have you ever heard of using email to send a marketing message to someone? That's how old I am. And so that's how I got started. And so went there to into the publishing industry with magazines and into real estate and into all kinds of things. And then here I am today. So the reason why I'm in a good position right now to really talk to authors, especially indie authors, is that I own my own business and I have been helping small to medium-sized businesses get past a lot of the hurdles that they have to promote themselves, not just online, but just marketing in general. Without a huge ad agency behind you, it can feel a little overwhelming, and you can deal with things like imposter syndrome. Basically, all the little tiny setbacks that we can have in a day are all the things that will actually stop us from marketing ourselves. And I help business owners get over those hurdles and get them to the point where they start to see results. And then they start to get a little bit more excited about this horribly boring thing called marketing that they have to do.
Yes. And you've helped me out quite a bit too, because I also I don't like doing it. It's probably my least favorite part about anything. Mm-hmm. And I've worked in marketing for years, and it's just the world that we live in. We have to do it. So I'm glad that you're here to chat with us about it. Our episode today, we're going to talk and spend a few minutes looking at why marketing yourself online is so hard or feels so hard rather than actually is so hard, because it's a lot easier than a lot of us think sometimes. Especially for authors, we're introverts behind a little keyboard or a pen and paper, just writing stories, and now we have to market ourselves, especially if we're publishing indie. And so just to kind of jump the conversation off, why do you think writers or creatives resist this idea of marketing themselves? Why do I just hold back from doing that?
Yeah, I think there are two things, maybe three things, just very high level. I think one of them is that it isn't fun. So you are not getting lost in your characters. You are not getting lost in a story. You are literally putting yourself out on display. And so when I published my book, it literally did feel like I was splitting myself open and asking everyone to come judge me. Right. And it's something that you have to get over psychologically just to be an author. Well, if you think about marketing yourself, you're kind of doing that, 3 to 5 times a week, putting yourself out there, asking to be judged. That is not fun. That is a horrible thing to go through. And so that whole, that psychological aspect of it, of getting over that hump of being scared to be seen, that's huge. The fact that it's, like I said, it's not fun. So it's harder to get over it. Usually let's say you're going to a book signing, you're super nervous about going, and then you go and you have fun and it's rewarding. You don't always get that right away when you first start marketing, because you're starting, with maybe 0 followers because you just created a TikTok account, and then you post your video and you're waiting for people. Right. So it's it's kind of nerve-wracking to get through those first stages of just starting to market yourself. Not fun. By the way, it
No.
isn't, but you have to keep with it and it will eventually get there. You just have to,
Yeah.
you really, kind of like, when you start writing your book and you get those few chapters done and then you start like seeing plot holes, you start seeing where things aren't really adding up and you're like, dang it. And you have to like dig deep within yourself to find that passion again. You kind of have to do the
Yes.
same thing with marketing. And so, yeah, with marketing, obviously your passion isn't going to be telling a story. It kind of is because you're telling your own story and connecting with people. But there are fun ways to do it so that it doesn't feel as horrible as, what you're imagining, what you're sitting there at home
Yeah.
dragging.
I like the point that you just made about like it is telling a story. Marketing is about trying to get people to relate to you, right? So that they are
Yes.
interested in what you have to sell or do or promote or influence, whatever it is. So you have to tell the story of yourself or something that's relatable to them. And I think
Right.
that we'll get into it eventually. Like I want to do an episode on writing your like summary or back of book blurb or your query letter. Like all of that goes into you have to structure it like a story. And we should do
Mhm.
an episode about that at some point. But
Oh, for
I
sure. For sure.
digress. Okay, so let's talk about some of the common mental blocks, like fear of
Mhm.
judgment. I mean,
Mhm.
that was one you talked about already, but what are some other ones and what can we do to kind of, I don't know, overcome those blocks?
Yeah. I feel like almost all of it does boil down to fear of judgment. Like you can separate those out into kind of different categories. So and this is one of the things that I do tell indie authors and even just small business owners, when you are nervous about posting, and I did this too when I first got started, so don't feel like I'm like, oh, I have no problems with this. No, I do. When you first start posting, pay attention because you're going to be like, your heart is going to race. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, what if somebody sees this and they say these mean things about it? Stop right
Mm.
there. Who did you picture in your brain? Because you pictured very specific people, right? We all
Oh.
did. Okay. So think about who those people, is it because that person is a jerk or is it because you have authority figure issues? Like dig into it because once you do, you won't have those issues as often as you did before. So when I did that, I pictured very specific people who did not support me during my writing. I went in there and I blocked those people. And so I don't have to worry about them seeing anything. The other thing that I had an issue was, for me, it was authority male figures. I've always had these male bosses who could talk down to me, and I would think, oh my gosh, what if they're on LinkedIn and they saw it or whatever? So I had to like do inner work on myself to be like, I don't care. I would rather make money than be quiet and safe in a corner where this person can't judge me, right? Just
Yeah.
overall. So it all does kind of boil down to that whole judgment feeling of, we don't want to put ourselves out there. The other thing that I would say is you will never, ever, ever, ever get judged by a successful person, just so you know.
Oh,
So when
okay.
somebody is judging you, look at them. Would you trade places with them? 100% no. Think of anyone you think is judging you. Would you ever trade places with them? No, you would not. Right? And they're probably judging you because they would trade places with you. Like they're seeing you posting and they're seeing you doing things. They are jealous AF. And so just keep that in
Oh.
mind. When you are like trying to scrunch yourself into this small ball of acceptance, stop doing that. Put yourself back
Mhm.
out there loud and big because that's the whole point. And then it's also, when you start making sales, you start to be like, oh, dang, like I'm getting a royalty check. And all I had to do was sit through this uncomfortable period of feeling like I was being judged just for a little bit, and then
Yeah.
you start to see sales and you get through it. But I would say it really does boil down to that. Especially I meet authors and they're like, well, somebody said this mean thing to me or somebody said that. And that's what they hang on to. They don't hang on to the person that was like, this is the coolest story I've ever seen. No, none of us hang on
Yeah.
to that. We all hang on to the mean people. So keep that in mind
Mhm.
too.
Yeah. Oh, that's such a really, really good point. And honestly, I think you were talking a little bit a second ago about putting yourself out there and just doing it. And I
Mhm.
mean, exposure therapy works. The more you do it, the easier it gets. And then it starts to become a habit too. And just
Mhm.
building that, like, I had something that, so you do, we're going to kind of jump into this a little off agenda. But every Monday you do like an author's marketing like coaching call.
Mhm. Yep.
And something that you also include is like, what's your homework? We actually just got off that call today, which was great. But having that, like, the accountability there, first off, but you're also setting a habit. This is dedicated marketing time every week. And I know a couple of the authors that are in there have specific days of the week or even specific like time in the morning or in the afternoon or whatever it is. They've blocked out time. This is my marketing time. Um, do you find, are there other little hacks like that, kind of life hacks or psychological hacks that you can think of? And I know this is a little off agenda,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So yes, definitely. Finding a way to stay accountable is probably one of the biggest steps that you can take. So joining a group, you can join mine if you want to. It's only $7 a month, but there are others out there. And that accountability is huge when you tell someone, I'm going to post 3 times this week. And then you know you're going to be face to face with them, next week, and you're like going to have to tell them if you did it or not. That is humongous, right? Like that does it. The other kind of little hacks that I tell people are, if you are waiting until everything is perfect, you are never going to post. And so this is the other thing that I
So
see
true.
with the authors that we meet with, right? Is we are all waiting for everything to line up perfectly so that we can post. And we know it never will, right? Like that is our procrastination. Like that's
Yeah.
why we're doing it, basically. We're setting standards we can't meet because then we know we'll never have to do it. And so by having an accountability group, we are forcing ourselves to do something even if it's not perfect. And by the way, it never will be, but and side note, when things are perfect on social media, for example, nobody trusts it anyway. And when I'm going to go a tiny bit off topic here, but it kind of goes with the perfection thing. Videos, photos, all these kinds of things. We look at these big publishing companies or these big brands out there and everything is perfect. Guess what they're doing, you guys? They are then going to micro influencers to get imperfect content to help sell what they're selling. So they are going to people exactly like you doing the
Oh,
imperfect mistakes, exactly what you're doing to help sell their products. So you're already doing it right by not being perfect. So that's the other thing I would kind of, a little tidbit to help people. And I see this in all my clients. Like I've seen clients that will literally push things back for months, waiting for this, $5,000 photographer and videographer to come in and create all these things, and that bombs. And then the
oh,
videos where we're like, why don't we just go back in the warehouse for 30 seconds and you hold up this product and say something silly, and it goes wild, right? And so keep that in mind while you're not feeling perfect. Is that's kind of the point. Just like if you're on Amazon and something had 100% 5 stars, you'd be like, they paid for them or that was their family. There's no
yeah.
way that you would have 5 stars. Same with, being perfect on social media. Nobody wants to see that. That's not why we're there.
That's such a good point. The amount of like I've built out, and I'm gonna be a little too real here. I've built out full like year-long marketing plans. I'm gonna do
Mhm.
this at this day is this. Here's a whole plan for a whole year. And I spent hours on it, and then I don't follow through with it because I'm worried it's not perfect. So why would I waste my time? Even though I've like dedicated hours of work to doing this.
Yeah.
So I like that
Yeah.
idea
And
of
then you'll create
remembering.
another one in a month because,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
And you'll just keep doing it. Yeah. And that's the loop most of us go through before we finally just start blasting ourselves out and just hold your breath
Yeah.
and, do it. And that's the other thing too is, this is going to sound crazy, but kind of that exposure therapy hack of when you do it, like let's say you go and you put a video out there or you put a photo, go look at it, go watch it. Don't put your phone down and like stress about it for hours. Go watch it yourself. Go keep looking at it. Like I even encourage some of my clients that are so scared to do this, take a video of yourself, like Snapchat or just regular video, and just talk into it. And then just watch yourself over and over and over and over until you do not care what your voice sounds out. You do not care what your face looks like. You don't care about anything. You're just like, I'm done. I'm so done with this.
Yeah.
And it makes it so much easier to post later.
That's so funny. I kind of relatedly when I was first doing I did a podcast years and years and years ago. It was called Dimly Lit and we talked about literature. It was a fun time. But I had to listen to my own voice. It was my first time having to like listen to my own voice for over and over because I had to edit it
Mhm.
over and over again. And I hated the sound of my voice. Now because I sat for hours doing that, I'm fine with the sound of my voice now. It doesn't grate at me like it did before, but you just have to watch yourself
Yeah.
listen to it and,
Yeah.
get over it.
You do.
Get over it.
Yes. Get over it. Get over
Get
yourself.
over it. Get
I would even
over
say
it.
too, like, let's say you had the weirdest voice in the world, like you're talking like this the whole time and you can't stop, right? That's good. Nobody will ever forget you, So, I mean, people think that if they have a weird
True.
voice, that means they're the outcast. No, that means like you're it. You're the talent. You have the weird voice. Like, congratulations to you. Go make your videos so people can hear it. So, and I think other people do forget that what makes you unique is what makes you literally unique. Like that's what
Yeah.
people are going to like about you and remember about you. And so maybe you got made fun of it in high school or junior high or whenever kids were jerks. Well,
Yeah.
that's actually what's going to help you make money and grow an audience as an adult. So keep that in mind. Like whatever trauma you're hanging on to is like, get rid of that crap because this is what makes you unique and it's going to help you thrive in marketing your book.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. Okay, I could keep going on and on, but I don't want to like take up too much of your time. So before we jump off, do you have any quick mindset shifts? And I know we've talked a little bit about some of them, but if there are any others you can think of that would help make self-promotion for authors feel
Mhm.
more natural.
Yeah. Yep. So, two tips. The first one is just do it. Just post.
Just
Take
do
a
it.
selfie. Take a selfie or take a picture of your manuscript, something. Just do it. Post 3 times this week. Do it. I don't care what it is. Just get it out there. And then the second tip is to remember next week when someone says, hey, did you do anything to market yourself? You can either say yes or you can say no. And which one would you rather say? So go
Oh,
post. Go do it.
calling us out, Ashley. Love it. Well,
It's
I
tough love.
love that yeah. I also love that you're assigning us homework on this podcast episode. So everyone just do it. Post, I don't know
Mhm.
once, twice, 3 times this week. What's your
What I
homework?
like to say, try to do it more than once. So at least twice.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on and talking a little bit about self-promotion and just the psychology of that and trying to overcome some
Mhm.
of those hurdles. Where can people actually no, before we go into where people can find you, you mentioned your book. Tell us
Oh,
about
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yes. So I wrote a book. It is called Villain Goddess, and it is actually a nonfiction book. Thank you for putting that up there. There's a QR code if anyone wants to buy it. But it is a book about setting boundaries and building confidence while you're going into your villain era. And ladies, you probably know what that means. And so as you set boundaries, you are going to be the villain. And I had to do this against the majority of my family, and I did it all by myself, and it sucked and it was hard. And so I wrote this book so that you don't have to do it by yourself. And I like to say that life is a roller coaster, and I will be sitting beside you screaming my head off as well. We'll do it together.
Yeah, I had the wonderful pleasure of helping Ashley with editing that book. And so she would like write a new chapter and I would edit it. And the whole time I don't know how many comments you got in the document that we shared that just said, "Get out of my head."
Yes, and it was so helpful because my writing style and my voice was so unique and I wasn't seeing it anywhere.
Yeah.
So it was nice to have an editor who was fully supportive of the style that I used. So I
Oh
appreciate
yeah.
it.
And she's got such a strong style in there, but it very much just feels like what is it you said, around a campfire with a glass of wine with your best
Mhm.
girlfriends, and that's what it felt like,
Yeah.
and it was great. I love it.
Run. Yeah.
So,
That's
everyone,
exactly.
buy Ashley's book, read it. It's amazing. There's coloring pages, you guys. Coloring
Mhm,
pages,
there are. Yes.
which is
And you can
amazing.
write in it. Yeah. You can write anything you
Yes.
want.
Yay. Okay, so now where can people find you?
Yeah. So my business is called That Digital Rush, and it's thatdigitalrush.com. But honestly, I think you might want to go to authormarketing.substack.com. And that is where the author marketing tips are. And so every month. So it's paid $7 a month, but every month at the beginning of the month, I have one free one that goes out to anyone. So even if you sign up for the freebie version, you will at least get monthly tips from me. Otherwise, you'll get weekly tips, and you'll get to join our accountability call if you would like to do that.
Yeah,
I would love to
which
have
is
you.
the best. Yeah, we have a fun time in there. Okay, yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're gonna have you back very soon. Like, we're actually just
Yay.
gonna record the next one here. So everyone, this is how we hack the Fiction Lab podcast.
Yes, yes,
So,
exactly. Thank you,
perfect.
everybody.
Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.
All right, well, I hope you all learned something and feel a little bit more motivated to self-promote and talk about yourself on the interwebs. Don't forget to do your homework to post. You can find all of Ashley's information and links to her Substack, her book, her website. All of that is in the show notes. You can also find access to our Discord if you want to chat with her directly, also in the show notes. Anyway, I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Bye. Ashley, we're gonna start over. My brain.
That's okay. I was doing a shoulder shimmy and then I forgot what I was going to say.